Yes. What is going on, guys? It's Erad, and so Inside Star Citizen is back. Let's get started. It's about master modes, I suppose, and guns that are coming up in Star Citizen about 3.23 later this year in a couple of months. So let's get started. Let's have a look at what Jared and the team have to say about, well, how we are going to be fighting with ships in Star Citizen in the future.
And aims to offer a first-person universe of possibilities. At the center of it has always been you and your spaceship.
Yeah.
And over the years of development...
That's true. That's true. Without a spaceship, you cannot do much in Star Citizen. I mean, you can do a lot of things, but eventually you need to travel around, right? I mean, you can get a taxi from other players, but that's a bit complex.
Testing, feedback, and iteration, there have been many changes to the combat and traversal experience. And in the upcoming Alpha 323, the biggest and most anticipated of those...
I remember how Newbie Fire, especially, is a big fan of VO combat in Star Citizen. Has been advocating for the return of how it was back in Star Citizen Alpha 1 point something. Yeah.
Those makes their presence known with the arrival of master modes. And with that comes additional changes to precision targeting, weapon balance, gimbal use, and more.
Good. The way we use guns here. I mean, if you don't have like the super precision... I play with mouse and keyboard, and I mean, I think that joysticks and controllers should not give an edge over people who don't have. It should be a comfort, yes. It should be a tool for immersion, absolutely. But I don't think that it should be giving an edge. And I think that this is what they're trying to be doing there with their changes.
What are master modes?
So master modes is a way for us to really kind of capitalize on what the ships are.
We have a new targeting system as well?
Basically, master modes are a new game feature that change all the combat experience inside the game.
So you'll have a mode for fighting in and a mode for flying from place to place then.
A rework of the flight and combat system to essentially try and solve a lot of the problems that players have had with the flight experience.
You can decide if you want to be in full combat mode, or you're just in transit, or you want to get out of a situation as quick as possible.
Yeah, so that's basically going to be the difference between the combat mode and the travel mode, right? The travel mode, which is going to remove all your shields, apparently. So that's going to make you quite vulnerable. And then if you get under attack, you are going to have to get your shields back and wait until they're back. So that's also another...
It's the thing that makes ship combat exciting, and making sure that the ships that you have in the game perform in the roles that we have envisioned for them.
Oh, look at that. A Star Citizen commercial. That's so funny. Yeah, they need to get rid of their commercials. Masters and blasters.
Since CitizenCon, we've been bringing master modes into Arena Commander.
Progress has been quite good, showing off the new modes and letting people get their hands on it.
Collecting the feedback, seeing how players respond to that online, by monitoring how players react on social channels. We've been testing internally a lot.
It's a very limited selection of ships, but even so, people seem to like it. So we've taken that feedback and carried on making progress and adapting it all to the rest of the ships as well.
And how have they gotten that feedback? Well, that's something that we're going to be discussing in a video on the channel very soon. The main channel, because this will be on the second channel. Instead of collecting that feedback just from the Evo Caddy, they have been collecting that feedback from Arena Commander. And I think that this is a brilliant move. I think that this is going to help them a lot, make more progress, fine-tune the game better. And I think that's probably going to be the future of how features in Star Citizens are going to be upgraded.
Watching how players play the game, monitoring analytics, putting it all together and sharing it with the devs who need to see it.
Yeah, so it looks like we are getting a new targeting system. I mean, look at that. There's like a green square around that ship.
How the hell do you go about converting 200 ships to vehicles?
Unfortunately, there's only really one way to do it, and that's to not get too intimidated by the number. A team effort. We're just cracking through it, really.
The difficult part, of course, especially as a designer, is try to understand the new game dynamics that the game system creates, especially in an environment like the PU, and then try to being able to deliver the proper game experience for every ship with a different tuning. And that's quite difficult, but that's also what is really interesting about bringing up a new feature.
So we're moving each individual ship into an archetype, and we're going to rebalance that ship to the archetype as a starting point. And
so probably by archetype, they're probably talking about heavy fighter and medium fighter and light fighter. That's probably what they're going to be talking. Maybe like DPS and tank and not healer though. That could be fun, but that's not what they're going to be doing. It's not Skull and Bones, but yeah, that's basically what we're talking about here.
Then basically, once that's complete, we're going to add the individuality into each ship.
Each ship has been given a full refresh, and we've looked at every ship in the game, assigned them a base archetype so that you know what you're getting into from the get-go.
By the way, this is something that they've been talking about for quite some time, and I love what I'm seeing here. I really hope that this is how it's going to be. They've been redesigning the whole combat system in order to have ships fight at a much closer range that we've been doing previously, and I think that it's going to be making combat in Star Citizen look more dynamic and exciting, and from the looks of the visual that we're seeing here, it looks like it's pretty well done.
All ships, based on how big they are and what kind of purpose they serve, will get an archetype assigned to them. A typical archetype is a snub fighter.
Yes. Okay, so that would be like the smallest one of the Merlin we're seeing here, or the Mirai. Snub fighters, usually small glass cannons as well. Very easy to kill, but at the same time very nimble and not easy to hit though.
Very, very small, very agile, but it cannot dish out a lot of damage, and it can also not receive a lot of damage before it pops. Yes. Light fighter.
Well, the Mirai fighter, I call it the Mirai fighter, is the Fury, right? The Fury can still do a lot of damage though.
Very maneuverable, decent weapon loadout, and it's basically there for agility engagements. Medium fighter. Pretty agile for its size, but it has a lot more offensive firepower.
We're looking at the
heavy fighter.
We were looking at the Hornet here, heavy fighter.
They don't maneuver well,
no,
but when you happen to be at the front of them, you can die very, very fast. Now, these are basic tuning archetypes that we have for our fighter ships class, and all ships in that size will be assigned to one of these things. However, based on the ship and what the purpose of the ship is, we have variations of that.
Oh, okay, so that's where, for example, a ship like the Gladiator would get the bomber status.
For example, we have the Interceptor variant of these tunings.
Okay.
This is a tuning variation that can apply to any of these archetypes.
And oh, wow, so we can have a heavy fighter that's also an Interceptor. Huh. I would like to see what that would look like.
Interceptor tuning for a ship means that this ship exchanges the agility. With agility, we mean the rotation rate and the lateral strafing accelerations, simply for speed.
Yes.
So they will not be able to turn their velocity vector much. They will not be able to rotate much, but they will be very, very fast just going forward.
It's like a scout ship also. The racer.
Racing ships are like the base archetype that almost all racers ended up with so far are interceptors, because racers prefer speed over everything else. But you want to pick the right racer for the right track. The other end of the range are our, let's call them fighter-bomber tunings.
Ah, there we go, the fighter-bomber. So that's where we see the Gladiator.
That means we trade agility for simply durability.
Okay.
On top
is the Gladiator durable? I'm
of the fighters, we just keep going with this. We have gunboats for ships that are constellation-sized. We have corvettes for something like a hammerhead, right? So our hammerhead is for us is our anti-fighter corvette.
Yes, it's
frigates
wonderful.
Are basically the biggest ship that players can control in the universe right now. So we're talking Idris, we're talking 890 Jump.
So they call the 890 Jump a frigate now. Oh, that's funny. Hey, how's it going, man? Is this the first you've watched? No, it's not. It's not. I've been a Star Citizen backer since the beginning in 2012. I'm gonna play Helldivers later. I know the live stream says Helldivers. I'm gonna play it a bit later. Just I have to do those reaction videos first, and usually Helldiver is not working for me. So, but we'll see if it works later. Don't worry.
I know that players cannot control the Idris, but we're talking ships like the Carrack. Those are frigates, really, really big ones, but also they will have variation.
Well, the Carrack should be its own class, should be a Carrack class, but okay, so they call it the frigate as well. Well, it's not really a great frigate, the Carrack, though. It's quite not very durable. Doesn't have that many guns.
And their tuning based on the brand and what the purpose of.
Oh yeah, Red Rizzo. It's the first time I haven't seen it before. Yeah, I know it got out like 8 or 9 hours ago, but I was sleeping. I woke up about an hour and a half ago, took my daughter to school, came back, set up the live stream, and yeah, when I'm reacting to the shows here, it's always first time. Yes.
The ship is. So these are very big changes that are coming, but the main takeaway is that these archetypes are just reference frames for the type of tuning you want to give a ship. It does.
Okay, so they are going to, even though they have different archetypes, they are going to make them very different, which makes sense, right? Because the Carrack is more like an exploration ship. It's not really a ship that you're going to be using for a full-on engagement, like the, for example, the Idris would be.
Does not mean that every ship that you have in the verse will fit a specific archetype. There are ships which are in between. For example, the Saber.
Oh, I will edit this out. CIG, shame on you, CIG. We pay. I'm watching a Star Citizen video, Inside Star Citizen. We pay with our and I'm a subscriber too. We pay with our subscription money. And this is what we get. They have the monetization on for their videos, and that is not okay, CIG. And I'm gonna put that on my main channel. You should not have monetization on your videos because we are paying with our community content money from our subscription for that, and that's really not part of the deal.
Is it a medium or a light fighter? It's somewhere in between. The Cutlass has not the durability of a heavy fighter.
No, it does not. I love the Cutlass. I love it. That's one of the ships that it's maybe the ship that I fly the most in the verse.
It has, however, the turret of a heavy fighter, so it's somewhere in between. So there are ships which do not fit exactly.
And the way you fly a Cutlass almost feels somehow a little bit like a medium fighter. It doesn't feel like a heavy fighter. It has the speed of a heavy fighter, but the way it maneuvers is more like medium fighter. And it also has the turret, but not the durability.
Into these frames. But this is the beauty of it, because these ships, we can make them fit anywhere where they want. We just need to make sure that the balance between them is right.
It would be interesting to have like a chart of the various ships that we have in the verse. And maybe I could be doing that for a video as well. Ah, yeah, I'll have to take some notes. I wish I had my notebook here and take some notes.
Not everything fits in a box, and it would be very boring if it did.
He's right. He's right.
Precision targeting is a new way of aiming at specific parts of a ship. You get the zoomed-in picture of your target, and it allows you to paint over specific components of the ship. So.
Okay. Okay, so are we going to fly our ships and see that and target specifically what we want to target?
If you want to take out the thrusters, you simply aim towards the thrusters and your gimbals will make sure the bullet lands exactly where you're aiming.
It's a big...
Oh, that's going to be really interesting for example, disabling ships, boarding.
Work of the entire target system with the goal to make it not only fit master modes, but also fit the problems we've had with target in the past, which is the control of the weapons and the accuracy.
Since master modes bring in everything...
Yeah, if you really wanted to target specific components, the way to go was fixed guns.
Closer together, and master modes is slowing everything down. We need to make sure that the weapon speeds are adjusted as well.
It will reduce your fire rate, it will therefore decrease the spread and allow you to be more precise where you hit. Good examples for that is if you want to fire at a ship from very far away and you want to make sure that your shots hit. An even better example is if you have a light fighter and you want to help take down a larger ship. You will not be able to take down the ship by yourself, but you can help other players by crippling the turrets with ballistic cannons, for example, and other subsystems. So that allows you to see better what you're currently targeting.
So you can destroy individual components like turrets, and if that big ship has turrets that don't work anymore, then it's going to be less dangerous.
Doing is we're bringing all weapons into 3 archetypes. We have the anti-fighter weapons, that have higher fire rate and a higher velocity that allows you to hit targets such as a horde of gladiuses.
Oh, I don't like ballistic weapons. I really don't like ballistic weapons because you run out of ammo very quickly, and then what are you gonna do? Your weapon is useless.
And then we have the anti-material weapons. Anti-material weapons is the one you bring out when you and your friends want to hunt a hammerhead. It's got the highest damage of all the weapons. You want to deal as much damage as possible, but the target is big and it moves slow, so you don't have to worry as much about actually hitting the target. And then we have unspecialized weapons, which are in between the anti-fighters and the anti-materials.
So this is better because it gives you a lot of options on how you want to attack the target. You can't just, you know, spray and pray that
yeah,
you're shot.
Diplo, I think you're right. That's the reason why we're not going to have gimbals. There's no need for gimbals anymore because they're all going to be gimbaled anyway.
Are going to hit. Or you can go into the precision targeting mode, see all the sub-targets that you have available, and then pick out...
I like this. This is breaking a bit immersion to me because we don't see the cockpit anymore, but I like the idea of destroying individual components like that, and it looks really easy. It's not like you're gonna press a button and cycle throughout those buttons on your keyboard to see exactly which target you're going to have. They're all going to be in front of your very eyes, and you just need to choose which one you're going to be hitting. That's great.
Which of these sub-targets you actually want to attack. Next to basically seeing what you're actually hitting, you also just get the stunning view of that big ship that you're targeting, right? Like it's a full screen, zoomed in view on your target. You can see it in all its like glory. You can see all the parts you can shoot off. I think it's great.
It is.
We've been really happy with the results so far. We're seeing a massive difference in the way combat works and what the players are actually doing within combat. And that's been really good to see. There's still some small things we're working on right now to kind of solve, but we're really happy, you know, we're kind of most of the way there at the moment.
The next big thing that the new aiming system has is the removal of the so-called N-1 system. That means...
What is that? N-1 system? Oh yeah, that's the guns, right?
That when you have a gimbal attached to a ship, the weapon attached to the gimbal goes down one size. At this point in time, after like lots of testing, we're pretty confident that we don't want the system anymore.
Good.
So in the future, if you have a size 3 gimbal on your ship, it will carry a size 3 weapon. But we're actually going further with this because from 3.23 onwards, you will not be able to mount fixed guns on your ship anymore. In addition to that...
Now, some guns will still be fixed, right? For example, the Ares series will still have the fixed gun on it. The Vanguard series will still have the fixed gun at the bottom, but that's going to be the exception.
All the turrets, however, will get gimbals.
Oh, yes.
So this is a requirement because of precision aiming mode, because the precision aiming mode we also want to be able to use on turrets, and we need a way to make the bullets fly where we want them to fly without cheating. So this means all turrets, they will get gimbals on their guns so they can properly lead. Cool. But to still keep turrets more powerful in terms of their weapon employing capabilities, and also because turrets cannot just, you know, jump on the way out of the way, the auto gimbal mode will be something that's exclusively available to turrets. So pilots will still be able to manually gimbal their weapons with, you know, either tying it to the controls or by looking around. But only turrets will be able to use the auto gimbal system because there's like turrets are supposed to be very, very dangerous. And so players just have the choice how to.
And I've always loved playing as a gunner in the ship. First, because I don't like to fly so much. Actually, I prefer to let someone else fly. It's just shooting. That's for me. That's all the fun. No pressure. Just shoot. Nobody is asking anything of a gunner. Just shoot and kill things, and that's what I like to do. And I'm so glad that they are going to make turrets more dangerous.
To apply the damage the best. However, because auto gimbaling is also in assisted mode, it will come with a reduction in fire rate. Just to keep things.
That's right. The size 5 will be size 5 and not size 4. Exactly.
Oh, no. Help me.
So the feedback, it has been going pretty well.
We've been really happy with working with the community who's been playing this to kind of fine-tune it and make the changes needed, and we have made a lot of changes based upon these feedback.
Most of the feedback that we've been getting has been pretty positive around Squadron Battle, where there's some pretty good group combat dynamics players are reporting positively on. There's some really cool gameplay emerging, such as how players evade now is quite different. You have to drop chaff, break your target lock.
Oh yeah, chaff's not going to work, finally. And I think that the reason also why they're doing this is because of Squadron 42. Probably Squadron 42 is going to have some objectives in which you have to precisely hit some ships, and this system here is going to precisely allow players to do that without being too frustrated, I would say. Perhaps there's also been some rumors that they're doing that because they're also going to release Squadron 42 on consoles, even though it was supposed to be a PC game only, but that system would definitely make it easier for console users as well.
You can find your opportunity to break away from your pursuing ship.
What we can see at the moment is that players are very happy with squadron battles. Players are not very happy with the 1v1, so this is more an area where we have to improve.
Of course, there are some very detailed feedbacks about some tuning choices, how we should make some type of archetypes better rather than not. But in general, it's going to be mostly appreciated.
The players are really enjoying the different roles that we've got. The interceptors are quite successful. There's been some pretty good feedback around the Buccaneer.
I love interceptors.
We've probably still got a little bit of work to do around the Lightfire class and 1v1s, but other than that,
I just wish that the M50 could have a little bit more firepower.
Pretty good.
It means you can stay closer. You are much more in control of staying in a closer formation with other people that you're playing with. When we do our regular playtests, we can actually fly in our own version of a formation, and we can track targets without being several kilometers off each other.
That's your version of a formation.
Our version of a formation is generally, if we can see each other still and we're not accidentally shooting each other, I'd consider that a good formation.
That's a good formation, yeah.
I'm not sure that's the textbook definition of formation. I can see you and not crash into you.
I've never seen players actually have a real formation in the game, though. It's
that's
so
not
hard.
formation, Josh.
It's a win if at least two of
yeah, they were supposed to make some kind of joysticks deployable. That was a long time ago. I think that this was cancelled.
4 of us managed to make it away in one piece without any friendly fire incidents.
Whoa. Whoa.
So the thing that excites me the most about Master Modes is if you just watch the footage of players dogfighting at the minute, you can really see how close all of those ships are, and it just feels so much more cinematic.
It's really about the foundation of the whole flight.
Yeah, but one thing that I don't like about fighting in Star Citizen, and that's also why I don't like to fly so much and then the combat in the game, it's because you don't have those cool, dogfighting where ships are, following one another and like World War II gunfights, and that's what I like. No, they're just doing this kind of combat all the time, like jousting in front of one another, and it's, for me, this looks very boring, and that's the reason why I'm not doing so much PvP, and that's the reason why I'm not doing so much ship-to-ship combat, because I'm not having as much fun as what I would have when I play a Star Wars space game, for example.
Experience moving forward, because I fully understand that this isn't a game just about combat. We want to communicate that players who want to do combat, they'll go into the Master Mode for combat. But if you want to go from A to B, you've now got a mode where you can do that without being harassed as much. So that's going to be a big plus for the game.
It's leveling the playing field.
Yeah, that's the travel mode, right? But I think it replaces just going at full speed. That's
a little bit more now. As we slowly breathe more life into each one of these ships, you're going to know this ship like the back of your hand.
People seem to like how much more frantic and intimate all the fights are in the Arena Commander testing that we've done so far. And I'm looking forward to hearing people's thoughts once we've rolled it out across all the ships.
Not everything that is in 3.2.3 you can see already in the Master Mode, AC mode. It's there's a lot more stuff coming, especially to weapon treatment, how we use capacitors, etc.
Oh,
but overall, based on the feedback that we got so far and also from increasing player numbers, we're pretty confident that we're on the right track. So, Master Modes.
It looks like, I was thinking it was a river. No, it's just actually just ice. This looks pretty cool here.
The gunnery system and the whole combat experience is a huge undertaking for us, and we cannot do it without you. So we want you to play it. We need your feedback. Be honest, tell us what you don't like. Please also tell us what you like, so we can make all this space.
And you can do that in Arena Commander. They have those Master modes in Arena Commander. You can try, send the feedback on Spectrum, especially Yogi. He's very active on Spectrum. He will read what you guys are going to say. Absolutely.
Combat game, great together.
So what we learned this week?
We learned that the way we fight in Star Citizen with our ship is going to be super different. That's what
we learned. That with Master Modes comes a rebalancing of ship performance into dedicated archetypes. That these archetypes are simply where tunings start and will be grown from to ensure that each ship and vehicle provides a unique experience going forward. and that precision targeting, weapon gimbal, and balance changes all combine with master modes to provide a more involved, visceral combat experience for pilots when they arrive in the upcoming Alpha 323. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Thanks for letting us share the process of game development.
All right, cool. Cool episode, and I think it was quite informative. Well, looking forward to what we're going to have next week. Let me check if... I don't think my voice is working on Discord. Deplorable, can you hear me?